Okay,
It's live.
so good afternoon. My name is Melissa Williams, and I am with the Montgomery County Planning Department, and this is the takeaway. I have two guests with me today. We have Susanne Call of the Montgomery County Parks Department and Mark DeCampo of the Montgomery County Planning Department, and we are in day 2 of the Westbard Charrette. So this is going to be a very informal discussion of what's transpired so far. I don't know if you can see behind us, but these are basically examples of some of the work that's been done so far. You're losing me on the screen here a little bit. So my first question is going to be for Susanne. So Susanne, you've been working with us on this for several days. What are some of the comments that you're hearing from residents and other stakeholders?
I think there's a lot of excitement about this plan, and some of the comments we're hearing pertain to traffic. People are concerned about, they may be excited for some of the development that might come into this area, but they're concerned about how the streets will handle increased traffic, since this is an area where people primarily drive. So that's one thing we're hearing. And schools, that's another big topic. How will the schools here, particularly elementary schools, handle additional capacity? People are really excited about increased green space and open space, particularly opportunities to access Willett Branch and create potential connections between Willett Branch and the Capitol Crescent Trail and the Little Falls Stream Valley Park. So those are a few things that come to mind.
Okay, so Mark, you're the Area 1 supervisor. So
Yes.
How are you responding to some of those concerns?
Well, so again, we had a visioning session back on Monday evening, and we had asked the community, and again, there's the material that's up there on the wall, to ask them what do they envision Westbard over the next 20 years, and how do you go and plan for the streets, the public open space, the type of public amenities, the type of civic buildings, and the types of uses throughout Westbard. And again, through that process, as Susanne had mentioned, there seemed to be very much a discussion about connectivity, transportation, especially transportation and traffic-related issues, not only within the Westbard Sector Plan, but traffic that goes through the Westbard Sector Plan, namely on River Road in Massachusetts, and how you connect between River Road and Massachusetts. So we are, and again, this is a lot of material that we'd seen drawn up on the wall. We heard from the community different options to getting better connectivity between those two major arterials. And then also with regards to Willett Branch, right now Willett Branch is kind of this back and beyond, it's kind of this forgotten, kind of over-engineered stream, which they used to do back in the 50s and 60s, where they turned natural streams and turned them into concrete troughs.
Okay.
That is overgrown, and now it's potentially a dangerous place to be in. And so instead of it being kind of this back and beyond forgotten place, how can we turn this into a public amenity, kind of a greenway that goes through Westbard, kind of almost like this neighborhood linear park that runs along a naturalized stream. How do you re-envision it as a natural amenity to the landowners on the other side? That could only benefit everybody.
Yeah, I think people see the opportunity for great potential to create connections through Westbard from River Road to Westbard Avenue and beyond through that Willett Branch being re-envisioned as a corridor.
The other thing too that we had heard from the community was, again, the public buildings. There's a lot of discussion about the elementary schools, a lot of discussion about the middle schools, and there was an interesting discussion that occurred on Monday night about the library. And the Little Falls Library Branch is in an older, constrained, antiquated building. How is that? How could there maybe the possibilities of placing, of moving the Little Falls branch into a potential redevelopment site that is kind of the main kind of keystone piece of a new civic green. So that was the other thing that we asked to do. There's a major developer of the giant food site.
Okay.
And if they were to redevelop into a new kind of town center, to have some kind of civic green gathering space there, and could the library be kind of an anchor point to that new civic space?
That sounds great. And I would say, Suzanne, since you're with the Parks Department, what do you think about the idea of a larger civic space associated with the library?
I mean, I think that's a great idea. We talk a lot about potential synergies between civic buildings and civic open space. You know, I think there's a lot of sort of logical connections there. And one thing I was just going to add on to what Mark was saying is that, you know, overwhelmingly people recognize that this area has a tremendous amount of impervious surface. It's just a lot of pavement, and you know, how can we look for opportunities in this sector plan process and in the redevelopment of some of these properties to reduce the impervious surfaces in this area, and, you know, over time improve the quality of the streams and green space in the area.
Okay, so it sounds like the major comments based on what you guys have said today are the environment, infrastructure, including libraries, schools, and whatnot, and transportation.
Yes, I would add too that people have expressed concern over density and, you know, where density will occur, and that they like the existing retail that is in place. I mean, I think there's certainly people who are excited for more sort of local neighborhood serving retail, but they like the small shops like Lad and Lassie, like the pet shop, like the barber shop. They want those things to stay, and they are interested in the area really being neighborhood serving and local serving, and not sort of a regional retail destination, and keeping it at sort of a livable neighborhood scale.
We actually had a lot of precedence images. These images that we had taken from other parts of the county, other parts of the region, to go and talk about height and density and architectural and urban design compatibility. And what we keep hearing from the community is that they're not necessarily opposed to redevelopment, but as long as the redevelopment is of a size and scale that is compatible with what is here. You know, people say, okay, so you have a one-story strip mall that is the giant food center. You know, its time has passed. It's an older method of providing retail. They would not be against the idea of having more of a mixed use type of town-like retail, but it has to be they can't be a city scale. It has to be something that is much more kind of village center or town-like approach, as opposed to a city level of development. And the other thing too that we should not lose sight on as well, and this was brought up by some other members of the community, is what we do with River Road.
Right.
And River Road was the original, say, downtown core of Westbard. And how could River Road, despite it being a traffic-ridden thoroughfare, how could that be converted into something that is more pedestrian-friendly? How could there be new types of redevelopment along River Road, so that it could be a nicer place to be in, but at the same time to preserving the light industrial uses that are one block behind? Because one of the things that we had heard from both the community and also from the Department of Economic Development is that the industrial uses that are in Westbard and other industrial uses that are inside the Beltway are highly prized. They are commodity. They are industrial sites that do a great deal of service, not just to this community, but to the entire Washington, D.C. area, because there are very few of these places that are inside.
Well, it was great talking to you guys. And so I have one
Thank
final
you.
question. The name of the show is The Takeaway. So each of you, give me your one takeaway from what you've heard so far.
I guess I have sort of the Parks Department lens on things, so my takeaway would be, green corridors and connections and the opportunities around Willow Branch. I don't know if it was supposed to be one word.
That's fine.
Okay.
No, it's one thought.
Okay.
Okay. And Mark?
The town square, the town village.
The town village.
Town village. It's the village square. It's the size and scale. It's we can have redevelopment here in Westbard, but it has to be appropriate. It's not a city. It's a town. It's not a major activity center. It's a village center.
Okay. Well, there you have it. So thank you for participating in our first episode of The Takeaway. We'll be doing this every day throughout the Charrette process and hopefully beyond. We're not sure yet. We'll see how it goes. If you are interested in participating, you can join us at Westwood 2. We're in room 211. We're here Monday through Friday. We'll be here until 5 p.m. and then you can find us at the Whitman High School, where we'll also be there every day except for Friday?
So we will be at Whitman tonight, Wednesday night, Thursday night, presenting. We continue to go and to flush out, and then on Tuesday evening we will not be at Whitman High School. We will be over at Westmoreland Elementary School.
Is it Westland?
Actually, Westland Middle School. Westland Middle School. Thank you so much.
No problem.
And we will be doing our final presentation there. And that's kind of the culmination of the entire Charrette process.
Okay, great. So you can find more information on this and other parts of the Charrette process by going to montgomerycounty.org/Plan Westbard. You can also search for us on Facebook at Plan Westbard and Twitter as well at Plan Westbard. So for any social media information, it's #Plan Westbard, and we look forward to seeing you again. You can find us here every day at noon. So thank you for sharing your lunch with us, and keep those questions coming. Thanks.
Thank you so much.